Hey friends, welcome to the Upright Christian Parenting Podcast, Season 4, part of the Treehouse Storyteller family, and I'm your host, Hannah Peru. This is your place for upright parenting in today's sideways culture. We don't tiptoe around hard truths around here. We tackle cultural issues head on, build a bold biblical worldview, and equip you to lead your flock with courage. Our kids are being discipled by something, so let's make sure it's us. Grab your coffee, lace up your shoes, and let's raise kingdom arrows. Hey everyone, welcome back to Upright Christian Parenting. This is an episode you are not going to want to miss. We are going to be squeezing gold today out of my guest. Today I have a parent and educational freedom fighter. I have a best-selling author. I have an award-winning filmmaker, international speaker, and host of the Sam Sorbo Show. Welcome to the Treehouse, Sam.
Thanks. Squeezing gold sounds a little painful.
Well, I just know you're going to have all those crazy, amazing, just little like word sandwiches that are just going to be amazing for us to run with. And I've got a lot of mama listeners and a lot of parents that listen. And I know that you have mentored to me in ways that you don't even know. And I'm sure you've mentored to thousands, if not millions. And I want my listeners to feel that as well.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So we got to sit down together at National Religious Broadcasters, and we got to share seats on the same panel, which was truly an honor to do that with you. We were with the Washington Post Institute Women in Media panel, and that was just phenomenal. A highlight of my week to be able to do that with you, and again, just things that you said were, just full of wisdom and.
Well, likewise. I mean, you brought a very special element to the panel, as did all the panelists, frankly.
Yeah.
It was really a pleasure to sit among them and to be able to feed off of each other for the audience. And I think the audience really appreciated it too. We were focused on AI and the ramifications of AI for children in particular, for education,
Yeah.
and for also filmmaking and entertainment. But of course, for me, everything devolves into education.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
So,
it was wonderful. I love, I think it was several years ago. I listened to an interview with you, and I can't remember for the life of me what show it was on now. But some of your claims, I just really love your boldness. I love your ability to just speak truth no matter the consequence and no matter what you're up against. I mean, you are just so, if there is someone that just really is a perfect picture of standing firm in today's culture, that's you. And so I'm just really thankful that you're on the podcast today. And I like to say upright parenting in today's sideways culture. And, that's truly what you've been doing. You've been upright parenting in our sideways culture and exposing all the sideways and upside down ways that we're up against as parents. So, I really appreciate that. So I want to dive in. I want to talk education. I want to talk AI. I want to talk about the school system. I want to talk about homeschool. Uh,
you just want to
maybe
hit all the mines in the field.
all the things. I want to um, really get your current take on so much that's going on around us. And I kind of am starting to see, we had 2020 happen, obviously, and so many parents went, oh, get them out of school. And there was kind of this exodus. I still am seeing an exodus where I live. We are in Jefferson County, Colorado. If you're not familiar, we have hit almost every possible. I feel like every couple months we hit national news for some degree. So, we were on the news. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before. I think it's been a couple years now, where the little girl climbs into bed at camp and finds out very quickly, oh, I'm in bed with a little boy and not another girl. This is a biological boy that I've been placed with. The school system did a terrible job of dealing with that, dealing with her, dealing with the parents. It was horrendous. They really took the side of the boy, and just really sad. And then from there, it's just been like every couple months. It was our school district that had a shooting at almost the exact same time that Charlie was shot on September 10th. And ever since then, we've not changed. It's still one thing after another, whether it's school safety, but it tends to be we're hiring the scum of the earth that are coming after our kids. And,
If you
you know,
were a pedophile, where would you go to find children?
exactly, exactly. Yes. You go to the place where the children are. And, we're really, really seeing that in our county. And we're seeing a lack of accountability, a lack of change. The leadership obviously is corrupt from the top. And so my point in saying all of that is to really acknowledge, we saw this exodus from schools. Our county is still like, oh goodness, this has not changed. We're still seeing, people pulling their kids out, which is great. But I am starting to see more people going, well, COVID's over, time to get them back in schools. So are you seeing kind of that across the country, and what would you speak to that? Like, has really anything changed or gotten any better?
Well, okay, a couple of things. First of all, I think it's Colorado. There's a young dad who has come forward to push back against the sex curriculum that is in his son's kindergarten class.
Yeah,
And to talk about that for just a minute, because I look, people are making their own decisions regarding school, whether they want their kids in school. But there is definitely a trend of parents who at least are considering, if not outright just pulling their kids out, they're at least considering homeschooling. They're at least considering it. And so, and I talk to a lot of them. In fact, because I do counseling, I do coaching and stuff. And I've got one couple that I've been talking to, and he said, well, my kid is 6 years old, so he'll be going into first grade. And, I figure for the first couple of years, I mean, really, where's the harm? Like, it'll probably be fine. But then later on, for the academics, I want to make sure that whatever. And I'm trying to impress upon people children are intensely vulnerable and innocent. And innocence is lost once. You don't
mm,
get a second shot. You don't get to reclaim your innocence
mm,
to lose it again later.
yeah,
So if a child's innocence is punctured at a very young age, that is damaging for the rest of their lives. So I sent this gentleman the videos that this young dad had made up in Colorado about the sex education. Now, mind you, I don't want to get too graphic. I'm not quite sure where your audience is, but
sure.
we have the V words, both of them, the P word, E, like all the words,
Hmm.
big fat sexualized words that they're giving to kindergarten. Lubrication is one of them, like that they are giving to kindergartners in order to make the children think about sex, in order to um, groom them. It's actually
Yeah,
grooming, is what it is, because when you expose children to sexualized images, sexualized content, it's actually the first step in grooming them to be trafficked, really. And
mm,
that's what we're seeing. And yes, it goes as young as kindergarten. It's probably also in the preschools because let's face it, these institutions are hiring a bunch of perverts.
yeah,
And the perverts don't, they're like the younger the better. That's what the perverts are. I'm sure your audience knows that Kinsey was the doctor who basically is responsible for our sex ed curriculum that we've implemented in our schools. And
yeah,
he did experiments on infants
yeah,
and climaxing
yeah,
infants. That's a pervert. I don't like, let's stop mincing our words. And of course, this is the problem that we're in is we've lost our language to the degree where they can say things that I think actually you just used a word unintentionally that they would use. I can't remember what it was, but they've changed the definition of the word proficient.
hmm,
So proficiency in, for instance, the state of Ohio is if you score at least 36% on a test. Now, to most of us, 36% is worse than failing. It's like, well, clearly you don't know anything at 36%.
yeah,
But for the state of Ohio, they've changed their definition of proficiency so that they can claim that children who are abjectly failing are proficient.
Yeah.
And even then they only reach, 40% proficiency.
Wow.
That means nothing. Like it means there's no learning going on. And so my message really to parents is if you want your children to get an education, they shouldn't go to school.
Yeah.
First, that's just first and foremost. So let's regroup. Let's get ourselves a good definition of education because most parents don't give it very much thought. They just think, well, school will educate them. That's the same thing. It's not at all the same thing.
Yeah.
And so if you take a step back and you say, okay, I want my children to be educated. Well, what does that mean? What is the goal of education? And the goal of education is to help form a fully formed human being, somebody
Hmm.
who can give, knows how to forgive, knows how to accept, knows how to be kind, knows how to be considerate, like a real human being, not just somebody who can spout numbers and figures and historical facts.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all kind of extraneous. That academic portion is extraneous to the actual education of a child, which is the upbringing of a child who can perform as an adult. We have children graduating college who don't know how to, we have a new word for it, adult. They don't, adulting is foreign to them. Oh, I'm adulting now. I have to learn how to write a check,
Yeah.
because nobody's teaching them those things. The
Yeah.
schools certainly aren't. And now the schools aren't even teaching them the academics, which we used to revere as like the be all and end all. If you could recite every president from Washington to current day, you were really smart, and that was something. It's meaningless if you really think about it. I mean, it's good to know the presidents, nothing wrong with that, but it's more important that you know how to grieve, that you know
Mm.
how to help somebody grieve,
Yeah.
the real
Yeah.
life stuff, that you know how to love, that
Yeah.
you know how to be loved. Those are important things because success is not defined by your money.
Yeah.
Success is defined by relationship.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. You've talked about this idea. I'm trying to make sure I remember the word, but you can tell me what you call it. Just kind of is it not unschooled, but self-taught or self-learner?
Yes. Self-taught or
Can you explain
self-learner.
that?
Yeah, so I don't like the word homeschool because it implies that it is school at home. And
Yep.
I'm trying to get us to divorce ourselves from the idea that school is beneficial because
Mm,
school actually is abusive. There are
mm,
very few children who really thrive in the school setting. Most of us were bullied. I think 90% of children report being bullied either by a peer or another student or a teacher at
mhm.
least once. Okay. So
What was
most of
your
us,
education growing up?
I went public school all the way.
Me too.
And I was considered a very good student, although I couldn't take tests. I had high
Same.
anxiety. So school is a very anxious place for
Mm,
many, many children.
yeah.
And um, and so we have to get away from this idea that school somehow, and by the way, it's a metric that we've just sort of adopted as a culture
Yeah.
because school is, and it's the norm. And so if you're not going to school, you're the abnormal one, right? Because of that, we have personalized our failures and corporatized our success. And so we think school is successful. And if I didn't do well, that's on me. It's just my
Mm,
personal, I just couldn't hack it. I just wasn't available. I couldn't, it didn't work for me.
yeah.
But it's my fault. That's why you'll have people say, well, I can't do math. I don't have a math brain. That's my problem. It's my brain. It's my fault.
From our very first days, America has been driven by the idea that hard work could lead us to the life we always envisioned. And today, honoring that legacy, College of the Ozarks does more than just provide an education. We're reawakening the American spirit.
When I thought about college, I knew that I wanted to do something that I was ambitious. C of O opened my eyes to the opportunities that were out there for me.
Our model of providing a Christian liberal arts education to those facing economic hardship hasn't wavered since 1906. Our students graduate debt-free through our work education program. They learn how to live a life guided by their faith. And as they begin their careers, they've learned how to take their seat at the table of influence and open the door of opportunity for others.
Being an assistant principal has allowed me to pour into kids the way that people have poured into me and open up doors and opportunities to things that they didn't know were possible.
We're reawakening the American spirit in the next generation. Will you join us?
But if they succeed in something, it's entirely due to the success of the school. My teacher was great. I really excelled in this one thing, and that was awesome. And I loved my school because of that, right? And I'm trying to turn that on its head. I'll tell you a quick story. I tutored a young woman in math. I'm a math person. I love math. And I excelled in math in school. And so I tutored calculus when I got to college. And I was tutoring this young woman. She came to me she was failing. She said, listen, if you can just tutor me to get a D-, my professor has promised that he won't fail me and I won't have to take this again. Well, I went to Duke University, and kids that got into Duke were no slouches. Like she wasn't
Right.
like she's got something going on. So sure, I'll take her on. And I tutored her to a B+ on her final exam.
Wow.
I tutored her the whole semester of calculus in the matter of a few weeks, and she got a B+ on the exam because I knew how to explain it to her. And her professor couldn't take the time, and he didn't care. And so he just breathed failure over her and condemned her with his words, unwittingly, but callously, at least.
Sure. Yeah.
And so he wrote her after she took the final, and he said, I've never seen such improvement in a student. Well, no, not if you're telling them that they're failures, that there's no hope for them. Of course you haven't seen that kind of improvement, right? And
Yeah.
so my point is, if you think
Information.
that you're bad at math, that's because you had a bad teacher. But we don't flip the table. I was very blessed. I had a mother who stood up for me. And so when they put me in advanced math in 4th grade, I was in 4th grade, they put me in 5th grade math. I started failing, and they said, we're going to have to move her back. And my mother was like, well, let's have a meeting first. And we went to the meeting, and I remember I was there, and the teacher was late, and he walked in the room, and he walked up to my mother, and he said, hello, I'm Mr. Rex. And she saw me out of the corner of her eye, and I was just sitting there like, because his voice was so loud. It gave me such anxiety. I could not think. I could not perform in his classroom. She said immediately, I think I know what the problem is. So they moved me up to 6th grade.
Wow.
And got me out of his class.
Wow.
Now, I was in school, but I did have a mom who kind of fought for me. She was involved. These days, the parents are absolutely not involved. They're not invited in.
Yep,
They are
that's right.
unwanted. They are not even accepted to speak at school board meetings. If you disagree, the school board will actually come after you. They'll sick their lawyers after you. They'll make your life a living hell.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so we've reached this point where we are now fighting for custody of our children with our government. It's a very dangerous place that we're in. And so I'm encouraging parents, just for the sake of the safety of your children, for the custody of your children, so that you can retain the rights that you have to parent your children, take them out, take them away from the state. Do not allow the state to get their claws in. And by the way, the more parents, we're seeing this now, the more parents that are doing this, now we're seeing the laws coming where the government is saying, well, we need to do well checks on the children.
Yeah.
Well, you never did well checks before. You don't do them before the age of 5. What is it that all of a sudden, as of the age of 5, kindergarten, it's important that the government does a well check in my house? No, I don't think so. Or no, if you want to homeschool your children, this is in the state of Illinois that has 30% proficiency. And remember my definition of proficiency
Yes.
from before,
Yes.
right? They're only at 30%. They want to pass a law that says that every parent who homeschools has to have a college degree. Well, who said that? Like, why is that a metric?
Right. Right. Well, probably because then the parent has been somewhat indoctrinated.
Oh, you know it. Oh, you know it, right? If you flip it around, you always look at the ulterior motives. Yeah, and it's a deterrent. And by the way, how are you going to prove that you have a college degree? Like, then you have to jump through those hoops. And a lot of parents are just going to say, take my kid. It's not
Mm.
worth it. This is very sad. This is the death of the family. That's another argument that I make
Yeah,
for keeping your children home and educating them yourself. And by the
yeah,
way, you don't stay home, you take them with you.
right.
You take
They
them
go
to work with
everywhere.
you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No, that's what we do. I've got 3 and I have a 4th living with us right now. So it's just that is what we do. We homeschool and we go all over the place and they have that adult experience and
You put them to
do you
work.
right, exactly.
And they
Do
get
you
responsibility, and they
Yep.
and they cherish that, because little kids, you know what they want to be? They want to be adults. And so if you
Mhm.
can treat them more like the little adults that they really are, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then they will grow into real adults, good adults,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you're giving them practice. They get to
Right.
practice. We infantilize children when we send them to school. We keep them infantilized and too young and immature. We keep them immature. We never had adolescence before. Did you know that? We
Mhm.
actually, our culture in this era has created this term adolescence. It used to be that at the age of 12 you became a man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And by the way, you went off to Harvard fluent in Latin, Greek, and English.
Exactly.
And like that was that was way back when there were no schools.
Mhm.
Just
Mhm.
saying.
Yeah. So do you think that the school system has always been set up to work against the family and work against kind of take our children, like the government taking them? Like, where do you think the root of it really started? What was the motive there?
Okay. So and it's kind of a slippery edge to be on. Initially, we had the one room schoolhouse,
Hmm.
and the one room schoolhouse was parents got together and they hired a young person who could teach their children to read and to
Hmm.
write,
Hmm.
and maybe some ciphering, maybe a little bit of math.
Yeah.
And that was like half days for, a few months a year, basically because the parents were paying out of their pocket to get a tutor to show their kids a little bit of stuff so that the parents could focus on other things.
Hmm.
And that kind of made sense because it's not
Sure.
bad to have an outside influence for a little bit, as long as you are not ceding your authority, which is what happens when you drop your children off at school.
Yes.
And so initially, it was just a community getting together to solve a small issue and getting it taken care of. But then the corporations came in, the individuals who saw opportunity. And for instance, if you can train people to just do menial labor, you'll have a factory worker for life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's make the schools a little bit more like factories.
Hmm.
Train the kids to move at the sound of a bell. That would be helpful. Like if you really think about it. So that's when the schools started to go off the rails. And then the Frankfurt School and the ideologues came in and said, well, we can shift the whole culture if we convince children that socialism is good, capitalism is bad, all of those other ideologies, right? And so
Hmm.
that's where we are now. And it's gone rampant because they started at the teaching colleges. So now all the teachers, even the teachers in the little private schools, to some degree, have been brainwashed in this manner of thinking. And
Hmm.
we see it in our churches too,
Mm.
sadly.
I was actually going to get there, so I'm glad you brought that up. Uh,
I'm always ahead of the curve.
you are, you are. I know you have strong opinions about Sunday school. Um, I I'd love to hear them again.
Yeah, I don't believe in Sunday school. I
Mhm.
don't think you off. I mean, of all the things to what's the word, to have somebody else take care of, the
Mhm.
spiritual upbringing of your child should be absolutely last on your list.
Yeah.
Okay. And by the way, nothing against Sunday school teachers. They're wonderful people.
Yeah.
And if but even if you know nothing about the Bible, The very best thing that you can do for your child is read the Bible together every day.
Yeah.
And I don't mean for hours at a time. I mean 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Get yourself an annotated Bible and just start reading. And
Mhm.
parents say to me, but I don't know how to read the Bible. And well, there's a really good book that'll teach you how to read the Bible. It's called the Bible, and it will teach you how to read it. It's the
That's
only
so
book that works that way. I mean, it's
not to
so
mention the Holy Spirit will get involved.
right. And so when you go to church and you say, this is mommy and daddy church, and this is
Mhm.
kiddie church,
Mhm.
you're denigrating your own religion.
Mm.
Your child wants to be you. You should show them how to be you all the time. That includes how to sit in a pew. This
Yeah.
is what adults do. Now you know. And when they're really young, you bring their little Matchbox cars or a little coloring book or something so that they can occupy themselves and not get too rowdy. And you train them. We've lost this ability to train our children because we were not trained. Our parents weren't trained. This is generational now. The
Mhm.
damage that schools have done to the family unit. But if you just take a step back and say, okay, I want I want to have a relationship with my children for the rest of my life. The best way to go about that is to not let them out of your sight. Basically, just keep them with you.
Yeah.
That is the best way to ensure that you will build a lifelong relationship with your child. And so every opportunity that you have, the question is, can I bring my kid along, or is it really not a good idea? And in
Mhm.
most cases, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you a quick story. When we first brought our firstborn to go out to dinner, he was so rowdy. He just wanted to get up and run around right. He'd never been to a restaurant before. He had no idea what was in store. When the food came, he sat down and ate because he was like, "Oh, this is awesome. I like food." Right. So on the way home, my husband, who was like embarrassed because we had a rowdy kid and it was a bit tough, he said, "Well, I guess that's the last time we'll go out to eat for a while." And I said, "Au contraire, we will be going out to dinner tomorrow night because that's how you train a child."
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
did. And we went out and it went much better. So the
Mhm.
training has to happen like right away, just like the discipline has to happen right away. You don't say, wait till your dad gets home. You say,
Yeah.
wow, that was a very bad thing you did. And I'm sorry that you did that because now I have to punish you.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah, there's
punishment
almost more
is
common
this.
sense with sorry.
Yeah, go
There
ahead.
there's almost more common sense with a pet. I think of how much people know, "Oh, if the dog can't walk on a leash, we have to keep walking it. We have to train it." But then if a kid can't do something, they quit so easily, and divert to a whole different, "Oh, I guess we can't do that. I guess we can't go out. I guess we can't," you know? So it's funny, we have to have that repetitious training, and you
You
can't
know,
disciple someone if they're not with you.
because our schools have not taught us discernment
Mm.
or analytics or really anything of use. And I'm talking about you and me, like because we went to school
Yeah.
and the school basically distracted us from what's real and gave us a bunch of false stuff. And maybe not false, but just unuseful stuff,
Sure,
facts
sure.
and figures and stuff like that. Um, we no longer analyze or think properly. So
Mhm.
when people say, but what about socialization? The reason that they say that is because they assume children learn how to make friends in school, but they don't.
Mm-mm.
They learn how to make friends by accident, and they happen to be in school as they learn it. But unfortunately, they don't learn it very well because they don't have any guidance.
Mm.
But if you keep your children with you, you can guide them in the friend making process, and they can
Yeah,
learn better how to form friendships and how to
yeah.
pursue those friendships. And so when, Sally said something nasty about me, I can go to mom and I can say, "Mom, Sally said something nasty about me." And mom can sit down with me and say, "Well, tell me what happened before she said that thing," and work through it with you. So you realize, oh, maybe you did the bad thing first,
Sure.
or maybe we need to have a chat with Sally, right? Instead, we kind of throw our kids to the wolves and we think it all works out because we turned out, and
Mhm.
that's not, and because what I was saying before, right? We think the school is correct, the school is justified, the school is the thing.
Mhm.
And so any difference that we might have with the school, that's a personal issue that we have, and we sort of discard it. We just, well, that's not important.
Yeah.
So we really need to be more circumspect, more diligent in the way we think about raising our children. And Sunday school is bad. It's just not appropriate to send your child away from you to learn about God, because you're the representative of God to the child on earth. And we've lost that a lot.
If today's conversation stirred something in you, if you're craving a little more quiet, a little more presence, and a little more Jesus in the everyday, I want to invite you to grab the Wanderer's Field Guide. It's a 4-week journey of seeking, gathering, harvesting, and abiding in His presence. Just 1 page a day, 1 prayer at a time. It's not about perfection, it's about coming home to Him. You can order yours at thetreehousestoryteller.com.
Wait, before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and follow us on Facebook or Instagram at The Treehouse Storyteller so we can stay connected. Head on over to thetreehousestoryteller.com for more products, artwork, photography, and encouragement. See you next time.